All right, perfect. So I think a very good evening to everyone who's attending the session today. And this is one of our first Enterprise Connect session. And the topic for today is how XR can empower enterprise frontline workers. So today in the session, the key takeaways are four. One is understanding what is XR or extended reality. I think today itself, when I talk to multiple organizations and people are still confused about what AR, VR, and MR is. So definitely, I think let's spend a couple of minutes here to understand the technology and its usage. The second would be understanding key enterprise XR use cases and the benefits for organizations across different industries. Third would be XR case studies for enterprise frontline workers. So basically people who are on the field or the frontline field force is basically how they can leverage XR for their daily operations. So that is something that we'll spend some time on. And last but not the least, understanding JioGlass XR ecosystem and the JioWorkMeet platform, which is a platform that we are building for the frontline workers, and I think I'll talk about it more in my subsequent slides. So again, welcome all. And I think just quick hygiene. So we'll keep the session for 45 minutes. We'll keep 15 minutes towards the end for Q&A. And throughout the session, you are in listen only mode. Hence request you to please put your questions either in the Q&A section or in the chat section, and we'll take all your questions towards the end. So thank you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, so moving ahead, I think as I mentioned, right, today, even today, when I speak to multiple companies, people, organizations, a lot of them are quite confused about what technology to use. Is it virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality? What is the difference? So I think I'll just spend 2 minutes here just to break the ice and let people understand what these technologies are. So virtual reality is a technology in which the user is totally isolated from the real world, right? So I'm not sure, but many of you must have already seen an HTC Vive or an Oculus because they have been in the market from a long time. And Oculus Quest 2 right now is being sold on Amazon for I think 34,000 rupees in India, and a lot of people are trying it out. So that is virtual reality headset. So basically, you're totally immersed in the virtual world, and you have two controllers to interact with the world. But again, virtual reality has, I would say, limited use cases because you are not in contact with the real world, right? You are totally immersed in a virtual world. So for consumers, entertainment and gaming are very powerful use cases for virtual reality, and that is what Facebook or Meta is really focusing on. And for the enterprise side of things, virtual reality is very, very powerful for simulation-based learning, right? Like, for example, you want to do a flight simulator in VR is a far more superior experience than doing it on AR or MR because it is more realistic. So going ahead, what is AR? So AR is augmented reality. So I think augmented reality, one or the other form we have been using since almost last 5 to 7 years. I'm sure a lot of us here would have used Snapchat filters or would have played Pokemon Go. So all these are examples of augmented reality wherein holograms are displayed or overlaid on top of your real world environment, right? And now what is mixed reality? So according to me, and that's how I understood. So I think that is how I want you guys to also understand if you don't already know and you are a technical expert in mixed reality. So mixed reality is basically a smarter version of augmented reality, wherein holograms are smart enough to understand the surroundings and position themselves with respect to your surroundings or the real world objects within your field of view. That is one. Uh, Second, they behave as real objects. Now, for example, if there is a bottle which is basically a 3D model of a bottle placed on a table, in AR, when you pass through your hand, it should kind of cut across the bottle. But when it comes to mixed reality, it should fall down from the table as if you have kind of touched the real bottle or pushed the real bottle down the table. So that is the difference between augmented reality, mixed reality, and virtual reality. All of them have their own, I would say, powers and use cases. And I think let's explore more about them in the subsequent slides. But however, I think even before we talk about the use cases, I'm not sure if you guys know, but again, this AR, VR, MR is not something very new. It has been in existence since 1960s, So on the left side, you can see world's first VR device. So you just see almost, I think, only the 10% of the device, which is basically the viewer. Rest 80% of the processor and the computation is happening in the room behind this viewer. So this VR device was as big as a 1 BHK house in Mumbai, right? So that was the first device. And in 1996, a lot of other researchers, engineers, and scientists started developing more compact AR VR devices at the MIT Media Lab, right? So you can see examples of different devices here. But again, we shrinked it from a room size to a carryable size. But again, these devices were not, I would say the form factor was not suitable to be put in daily use. So again, you can see people are carrying devices with wires all around, pouches, having hardware equipment and systems to power up these devices. But how AR, VR, MR went to mainstream was back in 2015 when Oculus acquired a company, when Facebook acquired a company called Oculus, and this was the front cover page of Time magazine. Then is when people realized that yes, AR, VR, MR is something, and it is maybe the future. And since then, we have seen multiple devices, headsets coming in the market, a lot of use cases opening up from both AR, VR, and MR side. So a lot of devices you see got shrinked, right? From big room to something which can be carried like a laptop to standalone headsets. So all started popping up in the market. But again, for the Indian market, we are an Indian company, and talking about in the Indian context, all these devices existed, but none of them were at a cost were at a cost price or a price point which was feasible for Indian companies to really scale it up, right? So that is one of the biggest bottlenecks of adoption and scaling up of AR VR technology, not only in India but around the world, which is the cost of the hardware. And a lot of companies, even big giants like Microsoft, Meta, and Google, all of them are trying to kind of make this technology mainstream by focusing on three factors, which is decreasing the cost, improving the comfort, and getting a lot of content both for enterprise and consumer. And in a similar way, Tesseract is driving it and front ending it from India and putting a very special focus towards the cost and affordability of these devices and content. So moving ahead, I think as you saw, the devices from a big room shrink to a small device like JioGlass. So you really need to understand that obviously these devices would be coming in every year now, but as technology, connectivity, content, and interaction is improving, then only we'll be able to make these devices compact, affordable, comfortable, and have a lot of content for people to consume. So if you see the image in front of you, you can imagine we earlier used to use a desktop where we had a LAN cable for connectivity, and we were using keyboard and mouse to interact with the UI that was there. And then we moved away from basically the LAN connection to 3G, 4G network, now upcoming 5G network, and we had phones which got advanced in the last 1 decade. The screen started improving, the UI UX started improving, the interaction started improving. I still remember I had an iPhone 2, the first iPhone which had the first touch screen, and obviously it that time it was wow. But still now comparing it to the touch screen of iPhone 12 to 1, there's a huge difference, right? And as we are evolving, the content is evolving, the connectivity is evolving, the technology is evolving, so are the devices. Now, what is next after mobile phone? And AR VR wearables is the next big thing. And maybe even what is after AR VR wearables or a device like JioGlass? It could be lenses. And I think in US, a company called Mozo Vision is already investing a lot to build wearable lenses so that you don't even need a glass on your face to visualize 3D content. So this is the how the evolution of computing is happening, and with this, the evolution of technology, connectivity, content, and interaction. So I think I wanted to just spend 1 more minute on interaction. So I think from keyboard, mouse to touch screen to having spatial controllers to gesture controls to voice. So that is, you can also see how that is kind of evolving as the technology is evolving. So moving ahead, I think we had a quick 5 minute, I would say, introduction about AR, VR, and its evolution. but what about its use cases and its applications in the enterprise world? So this is what you can see maybe very soon with JioGlass and Jio 5G. This is how we will transform an office. This is how we will transform a class on the top right. This is how the healthcare or the hospitals can be transformed, and this is how the factories can be transformed, right? Now you don't need to carry mobile phones. You don't need to carry, I would say, big textbooks. You don't need to carry your laptop. A lot of things can happen within JioGlass itself using your phone. And you don't need to have screens. The world is your screen. Digital information will be overlaid on top of your real world, which is very contextual to the things that you are looking at, right? So I think let's further dwell into these use cases. And you can see that XR is not limited to the four areas that we described in the last slide, but it is basically an horizontal which cut across each vertical, right? So you can have multiple AR VR use cases in industrial and manufacturing domain, and with the advent of Industry 4.0, you can see a lot of large organizations are already implementing AR, VR, IoT, many other emerging tech within their factories and manufacturing plants to improve productivity of not only machines, but of people as well. You can see a lot of videos on web wherein HoloLens or Oculus is now being used by doctors to simulate surgeries before they go for an actual surgery. Similarly, for education, students can now interact with 3D content. They can visualize content which was impossible to even imagine in the previous world. Now, for example, you can actually go inside the human heart and see how it functions. Similarly, for military, I think if you guys are following AR/VR news, I think a couple of years back, and the biggest contract that Microsoft HoloLens has been awarded is through the US Army, wherein they are creating a special AR/VR headset for US Army for in the field assistance of the soldiers and for training them, right? And for engineering, I think even I'm speaking to a lot of large and heavy engineering companies, and all of them are looking at a better way to collaborate on top of CAD models, 3D models, right? Even if you are developing your work in 3D, but you have to still visualize it on a 2D screen. So why to be limited? With JioGlass now you can visualize and collaborate on top of 3D models. Similarly, for retail, people are looking at I would say AR, VR digital catalogs, so that once people are coming into the showrooms or their retail stores, they can better, I would say, explore, visualize, and experience products, or even at home, right? And you can do virtual try-ons of not only apparels, but also visualize like a microwave in Reliance Digital, place it in your kitchen and see how it will look. And similarly for marketing and advertising, emergency response, and so on and so forth. There are multiple use cases which can be powered up by XR. Obviously, a lot of use cases are already happening either through mobile or through laptop, but the 3D visualization, the analytics which is coming through tracking the events and the movement of the user, so that all makes the use of XR very, very powerful and more insightful for organizations and individuals. So moving ahead, I think I spoke about a lot of things, but would like to show you a video of how Jio 5G and JioGlass would really transform the industry and enable various use cases across different industries.
The true 5G powered JioGlass is here to truly transform the future of business connectivity. How you interact with the physical world, collaborate with your colleagues, make informed business decisions, it adds a whole lot of convenience to everyday functions. Identify problems, overcome physical barriers, find quick and effective solutions, It can take learning to a whole new level, making it more futuristic, more immersive, more interactive, and all the more fun. It will even transform the way you shop, rather than you going out. JioGlass brings your favorite stores to you. Unlock the possibilities of the future with JioGlass.
So I hope this video opened up and gave you some triggers of the various use cases which are possible. But I think again, after speaking with almost 100 plus organizations, especially large enterprises in India, we could drive out there are three key use cases which are the use cases which can be implemented today. And that is what we are currently working on. And very soon, by next quarter, you would see a lot of these use cases implemented in large organizations in the country, starting with the whole digital workflows and remote assistance platform. Using this platform, the field workers or the field operators are more connected to their organizations. They are able to seek real-time guidance from experts sitting in the head office, or they can follow digitized checklists, or they can refer to files, 3D models, videos, PDFs in the knowledge repository of the organization, all hands-free while they are on the field, right? So this is one of the most powerful use cases being already used across multiple organizations in the Western world. Not even in the Western world, but a lot of organizations are already using it at a level in India itself. But the biggest challenge being here the cost and the affordability of hardware, right? So that is what I think we'll be able to help organizations overcome very soon, and help them further scale this up and improve employee productivity and many other benefits that we'll discuss shortly. Moving ahead, I think the second or the major use case is the whole remote communication and collaboration use case, wherein such kind of a platform can be created, but will have to be customized for different industry verticals. Wherein for heavy engineering, you have CAD, for construction, you have BIM, for medical, you have DICOM, so on and so forth. People want a way to collaborate on 3D models, and that is now possible with JioGlass and the communication and collaboration platform that we'll be building. The third becomes learning. Again, a lot of, I would say, colleges, schools are now looking for new ways to engage students and have better results, right? After post-COVID, a lot of classes are happening online, right? Wherein students are not able to go and attend the practical or lab sessions, right? So how can we bring labs and practical learning concepts to them? I think this tool becomes very powerful to visualize and simulate those things. Now, for example, we have a full-blown chemistry lab on GeoGlass. So without going to a chemistry lab, you are able to mix chemicals and throughout the periodic table and see how they will react with different metals, chemicals, acids, and bases, right? So that is how we can simulate the feel of physical lab, but digitally, and help students engage and learn better. Similarly, the same thing can be used for enterprise training, wherein modules can be created for people to really experience and learn rather than just looking at a presentation or a video, right? And it helps to basically improve the retention rates and help people to go better to the field or the area of their work. Moving ahead, the next use case that I think just recently in my last couple of meetings that came out was the whole experience of sales. How can we use AR, VR as a sales tool, wherein people want to have their products, their offerings developed in 3D so that when their salespeople go to a client, the client has better attention span to their products. By wearing GeoGlass, he'll be able to learn about the product, experience it, interact with it, right, in 3D, and make a better purchase decision. So that is another use case which is really coming up in India, not only for sales, but also for retail and so on and so forth. Last but not the least, again, a very simple use case wherein a lot of developers, designers, even I would say traders are looking at multiple monitors throughout the day. Why do companies or organizations need to spend on multiple monitors and maintain them? With one GeoGlass and one laptop, you can basically open up multiple virtual windows in front of you and multitask and do multiple jobs together without investing much on the hardware and switching windows. All right, so these were certain use cases that we are focusing on and wanted to just set some context about the enterprise space and what are the use cases which are coming forth. But now I think talking about the frontline workers. So I'm not sure if you guys again know, but 80% of the global workforce is deskless workers. So when we say deskless workers, these are basically on-field operators, workers, technicians, which usually don't have a comfortable AC office and they're not sitting on their laptops, right? So these people are usually on the field. And how do we make them connected to the organization? How do we give them the support? How do we collaborate with them? So there are multiple ways of doing it, but with the recent research done, I think this was done back in 2018. This is not recent, but after speaking to a lot of organizations want to invest in this deskless technology because of the 5 or 6 main reasons listed out here. So after doing a survey, they understood that there is a 33% of the responders said there is increase in productivity of the field staff when they invest on remote assistants or wearable devices like GeoGlass. The employee experience increases. There are multiple cost savings because the expert does not have to travel all the way from the head office to that remote location. The fault detection is faster, the fix rate is faster. So communication is one of the factors to improve all these rates. Customer experience and compliance. So this is basically the different reasons why people want to invest in deskless technology or AR VR technology or technology that will help frontline workers to be connected to their organizations, right? And again, just listing down the key features of these frontline workers, what they face on the field. First is that the traditional means of sharing expertise with on-field support staff and frontline workers involves use of mobile phones. So now, for example, someone comes to your home to fix your internet or Wi-Fi router. Sometimes they are able to fix it, but if they are not able to fix it, they usually get on a call with an expert sitting maybe in the service center, right? And while they're on the phone, they'll put it on speaker, maybe put the phone in their mouth, listen to him, try to fix the same thing. So the whole solution is not hands-free, right? You can't really hold a phone in your hand and use the tools to fix something. So a device like GeoGlass or a wearable basically is a hands-free solution to do the same. Second is a lot of preventive maintenance. As an example, I'm taking here preventive maintenance in large manufacturing plants. The field technicians usually have a pen and paper checklist. So while they go there, they perform their job, they keep ticking the checklist, they go back to the office, and when they're in the office, then they have to digitize the whole thing. Now again, with a tool like remote assistance and digital workflows, you can digitize the workflows, and while the field technician is performing his job or task, he's able to fill it in real time in a digital way, right? Again, hands free. Then when they are following these checklists or SOPs, the probability of errors or misinterpretations or human error rates are significantly decreased, right? Because you have something to refer to, right? Then the last but not the least again is the whole cost benefit. So as the productivity is increasing, the downtime of the plant is decreasing. The expert does not have to travel all the way from the office to the remote site. So the travel costs are decreasing. So overall, there are multiple benefits that the organizations can drive out of such technological advancements, and how we are promoting that in within the country. So GeoGlass is just the device, but this is the whole end-to-end ecosystem and platform that we at JioTesseract are developing, which will enable or be the building blocks of XR transformation or metaverse, the entry of metaverse within enterprises and consumers. So there are different layers that we are working on, starting from devices, wherein GeoGlass is the first generation headset that will be launched very, very soon for consumers and enterprises. But we have many more, I would say, SKUs or products in the pipeline for different use cases, from a VR headset to a fully wireless 5G headset. So I think just wait and watch for these, I would say, upcoming devices, which will be cost efficient for sure. Second, we are building our own OS, which will be powering up these devices and different platform services and offerings, especially for the content creators and enterprises. We are creating our own Unity SDK. With the SDK, you have different, I would say, tools, toolkits, guides that will help people to learn how to create on JioGlass. So you're not always dependent upon a third party to develop content, especially in 3D, for the organization. Organizations will be empowered to develop their own content by setting up a small team. And we are also integrating certain content, zero code content authoring tools, which will further empower normal consumers and seasonal, I would say, people who use this technology to build their own content. Along with that, multiple use cases for the consumer market, I would say entertainment, TV watching experience, watching different OTT channels on a much bigger screen, from media and entertainment to gaming, playing games in 3D, from games to learning, having CBSE, I would say curriculum aligned learning content for students from class 1 to 12, then bringing in shopping mall, the metaverse experience of shopping, or 3D shopping mall to people's houses where they can explore, visualize, and experience products. And again, for the whole business world, whatever we are doing with their mobile phones or with our personal computers, with the help of AR, JioGlass, and this whole platform that we are building, we'll further help digitize and improve communication and collaboration within enterprises, with the platforms and solution offerings that we are coming up with. And last again, is the whole connectivity layer. Being a part of Jio itself, we are able to control the end-to-end ecosystem and provide even connectivity solutions in remote sites and locations, which is where it is not available, right? Again, JioGlass, I think a lot of you must have seen it now. We have been there at IMC, we have been there in multiple conferences in Bangalore. And if you guys were a part of the developer program, you already must have seen this some or the other way, but this is what JioGlass is. And the three key features I would like to highlight here is obviously the form factor. So we have really innovated on the form factor here because a lot of feedback from the market was that they are not able to wear devices. I won't name the devices, but bulky devices for a very long time, right? So we wanted to have a sleek design, and I think it's here. It's only close to 110 grams on your head as compared to any other VR headset, which is almost 500 grams on your head. The second USP here is it has one of the world's best audio and video, I would say, system inbuilt within the glass to really give you that sharp contrast and amazing audio experience, along with crystal clear video and visual experience. Along with that, you can also connect GeoGlass with a smartphone, right? So we have offloaded all the heavy computation and heavy lifting of processing to the computer, making the device very light, sleek, and I would say sexy to wear on a daily basis. And use your phone as a virtual controller and consume all the applications that you have on your phone, either in 2D or download different AR, VR, metaverse applications which are available on the GeoGlass App Store directly using your phone. So therefore, the cost is also less as compared to standalone devices. And especially the whole solution that we are really building for the frontline workers, for now the code name for it is Geo WorkMeet, and this is a digital workflows and remote assistance platform. In this whole solution, obviously you get the GeoGlass. Along with GeoGlass, you have the GeoGlass app, which is the Geo WorkMeet app, which will be basically used by the field or the frontline workers to be connected to their organizations. Then we have a web app. The web app can be consumed over a desktop, laptop, or a phone, so that expert, wherever he is able to guide and assist the field operator or the frontline worker thoroughly. Along with that, we have the whole analytics dashboard to track the productivity of the field staff. Along with that, to have a productivity snapshot of the whole organization, right? So we'll further talk about these different components and how it becomes a powerful solution for frontline workers. Especially the first thing is the key features of JioGlass app is the field staff will wear JioGlass. He'll open up the application and he'll be able to connect with experts sitting anywhere in the world, right? With that, the expert is able to see the point of view of the field worker and basically assist and guide him by annotating or through video instructions. The second is if the expert is not available or it's a totally different use case wherein there is a standard SOP or a checklist that has to be followed, the whole checklist can be digitized into smaller steps, right? And the field operator or the field technician can follow step one to end to complete a task and complying to the SOP of the company. Along with that, he also has access to the knowledge repository of the organization. He'll be able to view 2D, 3D files such as PDFs, PPTs, and videos, along with also collaborate on top of 3D models, along with the expert. So this is a powerful tool which can be used in the field in a very hands-free way because the mode of interaction here is not a controller, right? The mode of interaction here is basically voice. So everything can be controlled by voice, or the second mode of method is gaze and dwell. So hence making it truly hands-free. So moving ahead, here is the organizational dashboard. So here we can track the total number of work orders. When we say work orders, that is as good as saying Jira tickets. So you can track who's the person to whom the work is assigned, to who's assigning it, and who are the supervisors, what are their performance, what is the work ongoing, what is pending, what is closed, and you can always see who are the people who are online and obviously call them when required for SOS or in general supervision or audit or inspection tasks. Then we have a digital checklist creator. This is again a very powerful tool because after speaking with a lot of organizations, we realize there are multiple hundreds and hundreds of SOPs that the frontline workers have to follow while they're on the field, right? So we had to create a very, I would say, easy solution to convert these SOPs into digital checklists. So this whole platform that we created is as easy as creating a Google form or a Microsoft form, right? So basically you can have an MCQ kind of a question that the field technician is filling in while performing the job. Second is he has to put in some value, like what is the pressure of the pump. Two, adding images and videos of the work that he has done. So everything can be done with JioGlass because it has a front camera, so you can also record and click pictures. Second is the whole job management platform that is created here. So as you assign different jobs, which is like assigning Jira tickets, you can put a lot of information around it. You can link files, which will be very handy for the frontline workers to be referred to while they're doing their job. And once the job is done, a full automated report is generated for the supervisor to review and close the job, right? So there's always a mechanism there, which is the checker and the maker mechanism, so that the human error rates are very, very less. And whatever work is happening on the field without the expert traveling to the field is able to review and close it, right? Along with all these features, you also have the call, chat, and 3D file sharing. So a lot of devices which are already there in the market, the problem there is they are usually heads up displays. So hence you can only see a digital checklist and interact with it. But what if you have to kind of consume certain 3D files and content? So that is where JioGlass has an edge, wherein on the same device you can toggle and switch between 2D, 3D, VR, AR, all forms of content, right? And the field technicians are able to access 3D models of the plant while they are in the plant to further help them or guide them to perform a task or a job. And as I mentioned there, when the expert and the field technician are on the call, the field technician or basically the subject matter expert SME is able to annotate on top of the field of view of the field technician, guiding him to specific instructions for especially for fault detection and for SOS, right? When there are no checklists and people have to basically use their experience to solve a problem. So that is where the whole annotations and pointing and stickers come into, I would say, very, very handy for both the expert and the field technician. And again, now spending, I think, some more time on the analytics. Here, there are three different analytics dashboards that you get with this. One is a productivity snapshot, which is an end-to-end, I would say, system which tells you who are the people online, to how many jobs are completed, how many are in progress, how many were aborted, are there any red flags, to calls. You can track every call, which can also be recorded for future reference. You can see with the locations from which maximum calls are happening, so that you can have more workforce planned there, or experts can go and visit maybe monthly, if not daily. So multiple other insights can be drawn from these analytics. The third one is basically the whole checklist analysis. So checklist analysis is basically you can track every step of the process. But what is the average, mean, median, mode, time of doing a task by different field staff or frontline workers, and really optimize your internal processes, right? So that is the level of insight that you get once you start using this, and obviously improve the productivity and decrease costs for an organization. Now coming to, I think, a couple of case studies here. So a lot of organizations, especially in, I would say, Europe, Germany, the automobile sector has already implemented remote assistance and digital workflows within their, I would say, premises and service centers. And over the last few years, they're able to get a lot of results. So these are really calculated results. So for Toyota in Germany, they had 20% fewer field service visits, wherein an expert could remotely diagnose and help the field technician to solve a problem. The issue resolution rate, which is the first time fix rate, went up by almost 20%, right? So that the car did not have to go to the service station, and it was already fixed at the customer's location itself, which led to higher customer satisfaction. So these are certain tried and tested, I would say, solutions and the results that came out, right? And followed by this, Colgate Palmolive was all is they have numerous multiple, I would say, manufacturing plants across the world, right? From preventive maintenance to fixing a default in the manufacturing plant was all manually done beforehand, right? And experts had to travel all the way from one part of the country to other part of the country, resulting in a lot of downtime for the plant, and also resulting in a lot of travel costs. So all these were cut by using similar remote assistance solutions are already available in the market, and it further kind of increased productivity and reduced operational costs for Colgate Palmolive. And similarly, again, Microsoft, after putting in their Dynamics 365 remote assist, they did a survey and conducted a research with 10 of their enterprises. All had multiple, I would say, benefits after implementing this technology. Number one being avoided expert travel. Second being manufacturing site tech productivity increased. The issue resolution rates went 33% higher. The field tech productivity increased by 11%. The expert productivity increased by 19%. The expert was able to attend to more problems than usually he would do, because he would spend most of the time traveling. And overall, there was a multi-million dollar cost saving for the organizations. And you can see the various benefits here, from labor saving to travel cost saving to avoided lost revenue because of the lesser downtime of the plants. And all of this was done for frontline workers, especially in industries like power, chemical, energy, automotive, and electrical sector. So moving ahead, and I think this is the summary of why do we need a technology like this for frontline workers, because obviously it helps in operational assistance through remote assistance, or through digitization of workflows, or through getting access of knowledge repository files on the field. It streamlines the process, it reduces error rates, and it kind of improves the productivity of remote operations. Second is, while the person is referring to the SOPs or talking to the client, he's also getting trained, and and that is a perfect example of on the job training, right? And secondly, for example, a junior, I would say, person is on the field and he has such an aid for guidance and assistance, then obviously he's performing almost at par with expert technicians. So that is another advantage that a lot of companies could really drive out of this. Then all the analytics which are coming in becomes basis for decision, and all the data which is collected from different calls which have already taken place helps in faster resolution and availability of information on the cloud for anyone and anytime, anywhere and anytime. And this can also be used for onboarding new employees so that they feel more connected to the organizations and are more motivated to learn and spend their time on field. So these are certain benefits. Moving ahead, I think thank you again for all the patience and listening me out. And I think we are just in time, and now we can have another 15 minutes for Q&A. So I'll just stop sharing my screen and see if there are any questions. The first question is, will you share a copy of this session's recording and these slides? Gupta, Saurabh, sure. I think we can do that. So, Swapnil, could you take a note of that? Let's, I think, remove the confidential information and share general information with everyone for future references. The second question we have, how much is the field of view? The field of view is 51 degrees, which is at par with, and I think much better than a lot of devices which are being used for remote assistance in the Indian market or the Western market. Mandeep says great information. Thank you, Mandeep, for being a part. Basab Nanda is the platform and in-house production and integrated with third-party solutions. So Basab Nanda, this is an in-house production. So we are already, I think, 90% complete in terms of remote assistance on the digital workflows platform. And we would be happy to do a demo and maybe pilot it within your organization. And simultaneously, we are also building the other two platforms that I mentioned about. So Ankur Gupta has a question about connectivity. So Ankur, you're talking to Jio. So obviously, depending upon different locations, we'll ensure at the time of deployment, or maybe try at the time of deployment to give you certain connectivity within the areas that you're deploying in, either through fiber or through 4G or upcoming 5G. So that is something that we can discuss at the time of deployment. So the next question is the platform NCLC? I'm sorry, could you please reframe your question? What do you mean by NCLC? Sorry, I'm unaware about that term. The next question is Ankur Singh. Is there a camera in these glasses to show actual physical machinery or hardware when someone is? Yes. So this is Ankur. This is AR VR. It is basically an augmented reality device. So you can see the machinery that is in front of you, and there is a front camera in the center of the glass, which is transmitting the feed of what you are looking to the expert sitting maybe at the different location. So next question, again, a follow-up question by Ankur is, what about plant locations or customer places that this glass will be in motion? So again, I think Ankur, here to answer your question, JioGlass is usually powered up with a mobile phone, and the connectivity from the phone is being used for the glass as well. So you can connect your phone either through 4G, 5G, or Wi-Fi. And obviously, there are two things for assistance where you have to actually speak with the expert. Obviously, you need internet. But if you are following a digital checklist which does not require an internet, that can be done without the connectivity part. And once you are back in an area where there is connectivity, it'll get automatically synced with the cloud, right? So two use cases, digital checklist can be done without internet, but if you really want to interact and communicate with anyone, you would need some internet to transmit basically the information between point A and point B in real time. So the next question is, how to be a part of the developer community, as it makes me curious to go in depth in XR. So I think just go on to our website, or Swapnil or someone, if they can send you the link, you can be part of the developer community. So I think just go to the website, and on the top right you will see a button saying developers. So just go there. Vivek says no code, low code. Yes. So yes, Vivek. So for the whole solution that I mentioned today, which was basically the remote assistance and digital workflows, I would say digital workflows platform. For digital workflows, you don't need to know any kind of a coding. It is as simple as building a Microsoft form or a Google form. So that is how you build the digital checklists. And second, to upload 3D models within the knowledge repository. For now, we are supporting a few models, but in near future, we also want to support CAD and other industry specific, I would say, formats, so that people can just drag and drop and automatically it converts into a lighter format to be viewed on JioGlass. Mayank Pandey says, does JioGlass support hand interaction and spatial awareness? Not at this point in time, Mayank, but this will be available with a software upgrade very soon, right? Because these are certain features which are advanced features, and maybe not everyone would require this. Now, for example, spatial awareness is 6th off, so that is just upcoming. It will be here in a month or so, and we'll provide that access to all our developers and partners. And hand interaction, we plan to have it sometime later in the roadmap, because at this point in time, we have three modes of interaction, which is maybe using a virtual controller using your phone. Second is voice. Third is gaze and dwell. I think Sandeep, I just answered the question. There are three modes of interaction. Controller, which the phone becomes the controller, which is a VC, virtual controller, voice, or basically gaze and dwell. Vivek sees you mean it is Unity based. Yes, the SDK that we have right now is Unity based. So all standard APIs which can be which are supported by Unity are also supported on JioGlass. Does it support MRTK, only Geo SDK? At this point in time, only Geo Mixed Reality SDK. It is called Geo MR SDK. So once you register as a developer, at this point in time, it is not publicly available. So as you register for the developer program, one of us will walk you through the process and give you access to the SDK so that you can start building using the emulators first, and very soon you will be able to buy your own GeoGlass as a dev kit. Geo's remote field support app, which is the license cost. What is the license cost? Sorry, the license cost is something that I can't disclose at this point in time. We are still finalizing the cost and go to market, and soon it will be available on the website for your reference. I think we have some more questions in the Q&A section. So Tanmay says, train on eyes, any health issue of children? So firstly, Tanmay, the age group that we would like to recommend GeoGlass is 12 and above, and strain on eyes as compared to other VR headsets. This is much less, though we haven't done any clinical research or study as of now. But in our usability studies, people are able to use it continuously for 1.5 to 2 hours without any strain. So I hope I answered your question there. Mayank Pandey says, does yoga support hand interaction and spatial awareness? I think I already answered this on chat. Ankur Singh's question I already answered in chat. Sandeep says, engineering students. Again, I think, Sandeep, you should go to the careers page on the website and apply there. Obviously, if there are any suitable roles, the HR team or the talent acquisition team will get in touch with you. Any more questions, please feel free to put the questions in chat or the Q&A section. Rohit Srivastava, what is the expected launch date? So Rohit, I think we'll get back with the launch date very, very soon. But just to give you an idea, we are already into customer trials. There are almost, I think, 30-40 households across India for the consumer customer trial. And for enterprise trials, we are doing within the Reliance Group companies and some partners, which are also starting next week onwards. So most probably after the trials and really getting some good market feedback, we'll announce the launch date. And it is expected somewhere around early next year, which is February, March, or April.
Arnav, I think you've answered more than enough questions now. And I think all the questions are also exhausted.
Definitely, definitely. So I think perfect. Any other questions, please feel free to email us. We'll respond back with the answers on email. And thank you so much again for being a part of this session. It was wonderful having you guys here. And thanks.
Thanks, Arnav, for the insights, for the insightful session. And thank you, everyone, for taking out the valuable time and trying to know about augmented reality, virtual reality, and in whole, extended reality of it. So keep an eye for the PPT or for the video that we'll be sharing with you very soon, probably a video, and we'll be sharing it with you through emails. So again, thanks a lot, all of you, and thank you, Arnav, for taking out the valuable time. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.